"Please stop, I'm bleeding" were the last words of Jason Sweeney after he was butchered to death on May 30th, 2003. Jason left school and had been working as a contractor with his father. He soon met a girl he liked, 15-year-old Justina Morley, with whom he had a date on the evening of his murder. Unbeknownst to Sweeney, Morley engaged in sexual relations with two other 16-year-olds, Nicholas Coyer and Edward Batzig Jr. Batzig was Sweeney's best friend since the 4th grade. Nicholas Coyer and his 17-year-old brother, Dominic Coyer, were also friends with Sweeney, but the brothers later ended the friendship. With the promise of SX, Morley lured Sweeney to the trials, a wooded area near the Delaware River where Batzig and the Coyer brothers were lying in wait. Batzig hit Sweeney first, striking him in the head 4 or 5 times. Batzig and the Coyer brothers then pummeled Sweeney primarily on his head and face with a hatchet, a hammer, and a rock until he was dead. Batzig later told a detective how he hit Sweeney with the hatchet 4 or 5 times. Batzig said, "Jason started begging for his life, but we just kept hitting him." Batzig also said that Sweeney looked at him during the beating and said, "Please stop, I'm bleeding," following which Batzig hit Sweeney again with the axe. They finished by dropping a boulder on the right side of his head. Sweeney's head was crushed and the only bone left undamaged was his left cheekbone. He was identified by a cut on his hand that he had sustained at his construction job. Following Sweeney's murder, the 4 assailants stole the $500 cash he earned from work. Before leaving the crime scene, the Coyers, Batzig and Morley shared a group hug and split the money, which they used to buy jewellery, heroin, marijuana and Xanax, and then parted beyond redemption. At trial, Justina Morley's attorneys explained to the judge that she suffered from depression and substance abuse in order to get her a juvenile court trial. The judge sided with the prosecution and ordered her to be tried as an adult for murder. She pleaded guilty to 3rd-degree murder in exchange for her testimony against other defendants and was sentenced to 17.5 to 35 years in prison. Dominic Coyer, Nicholas Coyer, and Edward Batzig Jr. were tried together as adults. They were convicted on charges of 1st-degree murder, conspiracy to murder, robbery, and possession of an instrument of crime. In May 2005, all were sentenced to mandatory life in prison without parole for murder. None of the teens showed any remorse or apologised for what they did. On December 2020, Justina Morley was released and is currently on parole.